Where are my book lovers out there? The Treat Your Shelf card kit from Tailored Expressions is here to help you craft the perfect cards for anyone who's passionate about books. This kit is packed with charming elements inspired by the cozy world of reading. Whether you're creating a card for a fellow bookworm or simply want to add a personal touch to your next gift, this kit has everything you need to bring your literally inspired creations to life. Be sure to also check out the additional coordinating products for even more versatility. Let's first take a look at the supplies I'm going to be using, starting with the Treat Your Shelf layering stencil and coordinating die, one for the shelf stamp set and coordinating die, an up against a wall background stamp. For cardstock, I have sugar cube, toffee, and saltwater taffy. Then for inks, I'm going to be using pineapple, candy corn, toffee, and saltwater taffy. I'm also going to be using sour gummy, Cookie Monster, Earl Grey, and also the VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. A few other supplies that I'm going to be using are the mini blending brushes. I also have my pair of tweezers, some scissors, I have repositionable tape, and also my Scotch tape runner, along with my foam strips, some posted tape, some thin foam squares that I keep in a container, and I also have the gold bits and pieces along with a dish to put them in and some sort of pick and stick tool. I also have some Barely Arts glue, and I'll be using my Misty tool for stamping. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a piece of sugar cube cardstock that I have cut to 6 by 6, and I'm putting repositionable tape on the back and just placing that down onto my work surface. Then I'm going to bring in the layering stencil, and they are all labeled in the bottom right-hand corner with a number. So this is stencil number 1, and I'm going to hold that down with my Post-it tape or any type of low-tack tape. I'm going to start with Earl Grey and a mini blending brush. Now you want to make sure you're also getting those little squares that you're going to see on the stencil. That's going to help with alignment not only for the stencil, but also for the coordinating die. I am skipping that top left-hand section because I'm not going to be using those on my finished card project. Then I'm going to bring in stencil number 2. I'm going to line up those squares so I have perfect placement of my layering stencil. And I'm going to start with Earl Grey for that lamp and that top center portion. Now, still leaving stencil number 2 in place, I'm going to bring in Cookie Monster and blend the rest of the area of the stencil. So these are going to be some books stacked on top of each other. I'll remove this second layer of the stencil, bring in stencil number 3. For this one, I am going to be using Sour Gummy. Using my mini blending brush again, I'm just going to apply that color to all of the open areas of the stencil for the books. This does cover part of that top left-hand corner, but that's the part that I'm not using, so I skipped that for now. Now for stencil number 3, this one in the top there, I'm using pineapple for my light on my lamp. And then for the rest of the area of the books, I am bringing in candy corn ink. The top left-hand corner that I'm kind of skipping over for right now does create a candle and also a coffee cup or a teacup, just so you're aware what that would create. Now I'm going to line up the coordinating die. So each stack of books has its own coordinating die along with that lamp and the cat. So I'm going to line up the squares that I ink blended with the squares on the coordinating die. The lamp does have two different types of dies that you can use to cut it out if you wanted to turn your lamp into a light up card. I am just using the regular one for my project for today. I held everything down with a low tack tape, ran it through my die cut machine, and now I have this fun silhouette of a cat and my lamp with my stack of books. Now I'm going to take the stamp set one for the books, which is available outside of the kit to purchase, and I'm going to stamp a sentiment on some sugar cube cardstock. This is just some scratch paper that I have available, and I'm going to stamp that sentiment in the VersaFine black ink. Then I'm going to take the up against a wall background stamp, which is a split stamp set. I removed the insert from my Misty tool, and I'm going to place a piece of saltwater taffy cardstock down onto there. I'm lining up the top portion of that split background stamp, and I'm going to ink it up with saltwater taffy ink for a tone on tone look. I'm only going to stamp it on the top portion of this cardstock. Then I'm going to bring in some toffee cardstock and I'm going to place the bottom half of that stamp set towards the bottom half of the card. This one I'm going to stamp in toffee ink. I do stamp this one twice for a good clear impression. And I am holding my cardstock down in my Misty using that same repositionable tape. Then I'm going to take this piece of cardstock over to my paper trimmer and I'm actually going to trim it down. So I'm going to cut right at where my ink line is to create that bottom half of the wall. And I can layer this on top of the background I created with the saltwater taffy cardstock. For the main portion of my card, I want to have a white border going around the edge of everything. So I will end up trimming my entire panel down or these pieces of cardstock down. So my final background panel is going to measure 3.5 by 4 3/4. I'm going to take the coordinating die for the sentiment and line that up with my stamped sentiment, hold that down with low tack tape and die cut that out. I also go ahead and die cut out another one from plain white cardstock and then layer those two together with some liquid glue. To start building my scene, I'm going to take my Scotch tape runner and add it to the back of the Toffee cardstock. And then I can take that and add it to the saltwater taffy. So this is building my wall in the background or my scene. Then I'm going to flip that over and add some foam strips to the back of that. I'll remove the backing from the foam strips and add this to a white card front that is cut to 4 1/4 by 5.5. I'm going to pop up my lamp and also my cat using some thin foam squares, which I like to just trim in half with my scissors so that I can fit it into those smaller areas. So the one stack of books, the larger one, I'm just going to add to the card front using a tape runner. The second stack of books, I'm going to add some thin foam squares too, and I'm going to place that so it's kind of overlapping that larger stack of books. I also then have my cat and my lamp that I added those thin foam squares to. And the cat, I'm kind of putting more off to the left hand side so that I have room for my sentiment at the top. Then I have my lamp here that I can add to that other stack of books. And then finish off with my sentiment, also adding those thin foam squares too. I love the thin foam squares because it's adding a little bit of dimension without too much bulk. To finish this card project off, I'm taking some of the gold bits and pieces that I added to a star dish so I could pick out the size that I wanted, and I placed them around the lamp. So it's kind of giving the illusion that the light or that the lamp has these rays of light coming out of it. I just use a pick and stick tool and the Barely Arts glue to attach those, and that is going to finish off my card project. Such a fun kit and a great birthday card to send to the book lovers out there. This is now available over at tailoredexpressions.com. Thanks for watching.